informed environment. Why change? 68% of children and adolescents experience at least one adverse childhood experience by the age of 16. 78% have experienced multiple ACEs by age 5. And every classroom has at least one child with an experience of trauma. Traumatic experiences can impact learning, behavior, and relationships at school. The brain is a historical organ and grows on experiences. When a child goes through trauma, they experience this is how my brain has learned how to fire and therefore wire. The lower parts of the brain become more dominant. Their brain develops from the bottom up. And when you develop from the bottom up, you cannot physiologically learn and function in a school environment. In our trauma-informed model, we focus on behaviors first. Because as a human species, we are designed to be in relationships, and we are biologically designed to be in a community. We are more regulated, happier, and healthier when we are connected. So when we look at the hierarchy of learning, we first start with the physiological care, your basic needs. Make sure that children are fed, rested, regulated. Make sure that they feel safe. Make sure that they have connections to teachers and friends and school administrators and the school community. Esteem and self-love so they can gain the confidence in themselves and have the desire to achieve. And then we have learning. When all those are in place, we have learning. And that's when they're able to problem solve, remember, show curiosity and motivation in learning. Transforming a school into a trauma-informed school is a process. The first year, in phase 1, there's strategic planning. There's a lot of trainings. There's a lot of goal settings and a lot of envisioning on what we would like the future of our school to look like. Administration is the key to getting the momentum started. In this sort of a system, it is a top-down system. Administration gets the ball rolling, and it trickles down to the rest of the leadership team that is created by the community of the school, which includes custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, office personnel, school counselors, behavior specialists, teachers from each grade level, a school board member, and if you have a community resource officer in your school. Their job as a leadership team is to learn all of the strategies and the tools needed to implement into the trauma-informed school. Strategies that involve creating a safe environment, supporting and teaching emotional regulation, and building relationships and connectedness. When you walk into the school, you want to feel connected. You want to feel safe, and you want to feel a sense of community. In that first year, the leadership team We'll research strategies and implement ways to make our school feel safe, connected, and a sense of community. Things like the lighting being dim, visuals of positive quotes, words of affirmation, student pictures, pictures of families. The front office turns into the engine of the school, and it's the driving force of the change we want to see throughout the school. It's the first place that parents see. It's where children visit. It's the communication center. In classrooms, the lighting should be dimmer. Colors should be used that are warm. There's visual schedules. There's music playing in the background, classical music. Teachers are visual at the door when the kids come in. It's a welcoming, safe environment. Now that we have the look and the feel of the school, it's time to focus on connections and relationships. That is the key to our change. Relationships come first before learning. And everyone must buy into that in order for this transformation to be a success. When children feel safe and connected, they're thinking and learning from their prefrontal cortex. In order to connect with these children, we must be in our own calm state of mind. Children pick up on our energy and our intentions very quickly. We must have our own strategies to take care of ourselves, realize our own triggers, and model what we are teaching the children. We must take care of our own brains so that we can take care of our students. There's a 3-tier system that involves strategies to help us connect and form relationships with our students. Tier 1 involves the whole class. Some examples would be morning meetings, team building activities, a one and done, which is the first 30 days you demonstrate an act of kindness to each one of your children. There's a 3 and 30, which is ask enough questions to find out 3 things about each student. And a me bag, which you can fill with 3 things that represent who you are and take time over the first few weeks to share. The 2x10 model that you see is when you identify in the first few days 1 or 2 students who might need a little bit more connection. And you invest 2 minutes for 10 days straight to talk about anything but school. This will guide you to some Tier 2 interventions and then possibly to some Tier 3 interventions, which is a little more individualized and involves a plan for success, usually a check-in, check-out system, which we'll mention in further slides. Some more strategies that would fall under the Tier 1 category would be to teach the kids about the functions of their brain and the different parts of their brain and how it reacts in different situations. Children become more connected and feel more of a sense of ownership of their feelings and more in control of how to regulate their own emotions. The safe spot provides a place in the classroom for a child to go when they feel dysregulated. This can also go into the Tier 2 category of a more individualized approach for some children. You might have some items in the safe spot that help certain children regulate. The more you get to know what their triggers are and what calms them down, the more they get to know what their triggers are and what calms them down. You can add these to your safe spot so they can go before they flip their lid and learn the skills to calm their brains. Part of having the consistent self-regulation routines is having a universal chart to identify and teach children how they feel and how they handle their stress. The Engine program is a great program that teaches children how to regulate their emotions, either rev their bodies up from the blue to the green. The green is where you want to be. That's the learning brain. Or if you're in the red, which is the escalated part of your brain, what do you use to calm down? And they use the 5 senses. So you might have some lotion that smells available. You might have some putty, so kids can squeeze the putty. You might have some music available to calm them down. You might have some sunglasses for them to look through, just change their perspective on things. There's many, many, many different ways to investigate how each individual responds and how each individual self-regulates. So this Engine program would be, and the feelings chart would be available in all classrooms and in all community areas of the school. And the last thing is the break card, just so kids have an opportunity to let their teacher know that they need a break, go over to the safe place, and regulate their bodies, and come back and learn. Changes in behavior do not come from punishment, they come from a change of heart. This happens when the student realizes their impact or actions on others. They realize the possibilities of alternate actions, and they're given the opportunity to repair. A great way to do this is The Time Machine by Becky Bailey with Conscious Discipline. And this is a visual problem-solving walkthrough that 2 children or a small group of children can participate in and learn problem-solving techniques. You start by rolling back time and asking if each other is willing to solve the problem. They take a deep breath and calm down and get in their green brain. They wish each other well, and then they focus on the goal and say, let's do it. The students are then coached by the teacher and given the words like, I don't like it when you hit me. Next time, please use kind hands. And then once the problem is solved, they connect to each other by giving a high five, a handshake, or another gesture of their preference. This next slide takes us out of the classroom and into a Tier 3 instruction strategy. That's for in-school suspension. In-school suspensions are implemented in trauma-informed schools to keep the children connected to the school. When an in-school suspension room is created in the school, students build stronger relationships at school, they learn better coping skills, and they know they belong. In-school suspension rooms are a place where students can go if they need a break. It's a place where students can go in the morning to get their mind set and regulated